In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this ongoing major storm that's moving its way onshore to the western United States. This will eventually move across the United States, bringing a snowstorm in the north and a severe weather outbreak in the south. Let's get straight into things. And first things first, we're taking a look at our current radar imagery, and we can see this major storm moving on to the western United States. We see it there, particularly impacting California here at this point with some heavy rainfall. We're going to zoom in and take a look at that in just a moment. But I would like to mention that we also have some snow showers still ongoing in the northeastern corner of the United States. And for now, the area that is expecting to have severe weather is looking quiet. But that's not going to last too long, because tomorrow we're going to be dealing with the first day of that 3-day severe weather event. I already have a live stream scheduled, so you can check that out. I'm putting it in the comment down below, first off, the pinned comment. You can click that, like it, and set a reminder for when we go live, because I don't know what time that will be. I would love it if you guys would tune in. If you can't find it in the comments, it'll also be at the top of the description. So I greatly appreciate those likes and those notifications that you guys turn on for that, because it's going to help us get those viewers in right away and get that important information out to folks. Now let's zoom into the western United States real quickly, and in the northwest we can see there is some rain showers up here for Montana, especially western Montana. Some pockets of Idaho, although they've pretty much moved out up into Montana. But we do see pretty sporadic showers here for Oregon and Washington. These are mostly moving straight northward though. And they're quite spotty. So there's some dry spots in there, but there also is some areas with precipitation as well, of course. Now, as we move to the southwest, this is where things are a little bit more intense. We do have this heavier rainfall going on for central and northern California here. And this was near the San Francisco Bay, but it's basically moved to the east of this region. So it's moved kind of just onshore of there. And you guys are in a little bit of a more dry situation now. Let's zoom in a little bit further so we can see this take place. But yeah, the San Francisco Bay area there has pretty much dried up through the morning. There is that pocket of showers that will probably bring some lighter rainfall compared to what you've been seeing. Sacramento, you're right in the heart of that heavy rainfall, although that looks to have moved a little bit to your east as well, mostly moving towards the Sierra Nevadas here. As you can see, that precipitation is moving mostly towards those mountains. And it looks like snowfall is going to be a common theme in here as that precipitation moves in closer. All right, now this storm eventually will basically move in and north like this. And the severe weather will be obviously taking place in here on day 1, here in day 2, and then here we're going to be watching in day 3. So this is just going to be a very impactful situation for many folks. We will be taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. We can see these lake effect snow showers taking place here for Michigan. Both peninsulas here getting hit by that. We do see this snowfall moving really rapidly through Ohio, Pennsylvania, even West Virginia getting a bit of that. Even New York here all the way into the Atlantic Ocean through Connecticut. So we are seeing plenty of those lake effect snowfall showers. We also see a bit of this going on for Maine. There, although this is kind of a shower that's moving off the Atlantic, so this is not associated with this down here. These are totally different entities going on here. But we can see that these snow showers, where they're staying consistent, I want to just find a spot where I think these are really hanging out. Well, it looks like Buffalo has had a heavier pocket of that, and it's started back up again. So we can see that this area here in Buffalo was seeing a very consistent, heavier snow shower. Wouldn't be surprised if an inch or two fell during that. So let us know if you are in one of those lake effect snow showers, how the conditions are. But when they're staying consistently over the same spot and not wobbling around, and it is heavier in that snowfall, it's not surprising to see actually a lot of accumulation. And just off the top of my head, Syracuse here also looks to be getting a little bit more of a persistent band there, where you can tell over the past 6 hours, because this is how long this loop is, they've been majority seeing snowfall happen actually, rather than not. But there has been some drier pockets in there, but generally snowfall has been occurring in Syracuse. All right, now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the modeled guidance. We're going to go through the temperature pattern, the upcoming major storm, obviously, or ongoing major storm. We'll also take a look at the long-range pattern as far as precipitation is concerned as well. And then we're going to break down the severe weather threat, where our confidence has unfortunately gone up significantly. Now let's go ahead and break down our precipitation here. We can tell that this is a little bit behind, but as we move towards about now, we can see that there is that precipitation here for the western United States. By the way, I would like to mention now that we do have our Discord server back online. So if you do click that link in the pinned comment or the description for the Discord invite, it should work now. We're trying to pick back up that Discord server, so go ahead and join us. We've been kind of active in that community, and I'm thinking about scheduling something where I go in there and talk to you guys once or twice a week and make an effort to do that for you guys, maybe even a voice chat. So that would be really cool way for us to interact. So I highly recommend you join our Discord server. Again, pinned comment, description. Really cool. You should check it out. Let's move further with this. And really what ends up happening is this storm transfers by time we're reaching early on tomorrow morning, about 5 a.m. or so. Tuesday, March 29th, this storm is mostly over the Rockies here. But we can see that basically what's going to happen is this low is going to really develop over Nebraska. And then we're going to start to see some sort of front try to build underneath. We already have that warm front building in. So let's continue this on. And there we go. That's the severe weather starting to initialize there. And it's going to be primarily a pretty late threat there, Tuesday into Wednesday. We're going to be watching this closely. Obviously, could be an overnight threat, unfortunately. So we're going to have to be watching fairly closely for that. Obviously, when people are asleep and not prepared, that's always the worst, really. We see this secondary low, well, what will become the primary low, develop here over Oklahoma and Texas, which almost just intensifies things even further, as this low used to be the primary one, but really a lot of that energy is transferring back down to this one. So we watch over the next couple hours after that as we head into Wednesday. This one dramatically weakens and this one dramatically strengthens as this one's becoming a 989 millibar low pressure center now. And the cold front is extending down like this. Warm front is really dramatically elongated. Let me show you something like this. And then the cold front is looking about like this. And what's happening here is warm air is surging up northward. So we're in a little bit of a colder pattern. For instance, it's 31 here in Virginia right now, which is very cold for late March. But this warm air is really going to surge in by the time we're reaching Wednesday afternoon. And for the East Coast, it'll even last into a bit of Thursday. But Wednesday, we see the severe weather start up for this southeast region because we have that warm air, but there's this crushing cold front coming through. And right out ahead of that, obviously, we're going to have potentially supercells and then that linear storm mode with the cold front that is also going to be a concern for wind. And as of now, hail is a potential threat, but obviously tornadoes as well with the way the lower jet looks and, things of that nature, really pulling in that Gulf air combined with the Arctic air coming in from the north. It's just really looking like it could be another intense tornado outbreak type event, unfortunately. Our low is primarily over the Great Lakes now with a cold front like this. By the time we're reaching Thursday morning, this will be about 5 a.m. on Thursday. We have about this look. Again, warm air still will be surging in at 5 a.m. on Thursday. Probably will be a quite warm morning. Eastern seaboard is dry right now, but things will get much cooler. We see the cold air surging in behind, and that's what's really fueling this cold front there. That's the overall pattern. As we continue on with this, we can see by Thursday afternoon, storms are going to be moving in to the eastern United States, and we do have a severe weather threat for that region as well. And by the time we're reaching basically about 8 p.m. there on the last day of March, this cold front is going to be approaching the eastern seaboard. This means by April 1st, we will be starting things out very, very cold because this is about 8 a.m. here on April 1st. The cold front is offshore of everywhere except for New England, basically, at this point. And the cold air is reaching into the eastern United States by this point, now that that cold front has moved through. And it will be quite a cool day to start off April. We do see this southern slider type storm move through. This is going to be about 8 p.m. on Saturday, or April 2nd, better yet. And this one really tries to move up on some of these model runs we've seen, but it looks like on this one it might be a little bit more flat. So that's going to be another thing we need to watch in the trends because this could get pulled up the coast or it could go right out to sea. And obviously, in between there's a huge difference in implications for this region. Basically, the difference would be nothing if it goes flat and a lot of something if it definitely pulls up the coast. That would be huge implications, guys. And we see a lot of these minor storms take place. Like watch from April 3rd through like the end of the model run here. Let me show you. Watch how many minor little rain systems move through here. We could have little micro severe weather events happen at any point this time of year with these smaller low pressure systems. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some activity between the 3rd and the 7th here that we see on the European model. I also wouldn't be surprised that the pattern looks entirely different as well, so take this with a grain of salt. But I do think that there is some more potential for severe weather, although things do look quieter as far as major low pressure systems moving through. So that is definitely worth mentioning. Now, what we're going to do here is move on and talk about that temperature pattern, and then we're going to break down the severe weather outlooks and also the model guidance for the severe weather. Keep in mind on the slider bar where you can skip things, there is categories on there for you guys to click through, skip through, all of that. So if you want to get to a specific place, that should be pretty user-friendly for you guys. All right, now here's the temperature pattern we're in right now. No surprise here that it looks pretty much like this. If you go outside at any point today, you will realize that this is very accurate. I'm sure it's quite warm along the western United States as well. And as we kind of move on time here, we see that probably our low is somewhere in here by this point. Warm front is looking about like this. And this is when that warm air is surging in. So we see the above normal temperatures bottled up right here, just to the east of the low pressure system. Cold air really bottled up behind that low pressure system, and this is what causes that violent just interaction between those air masses. And it doesn't help that there's cold air out ahead of this as well. Just a lot of violent differences here. And what happens is the low moves further and further north here, and the cold front is basically elongated like that. Warm front's about like this. And again, expect very windy conditions with very warm air from the south if you're in the eastern third of the country between Wednesday and Thursday. Just a little heads up there. Now we see this cold air violently moving through. We can see the cold front, trying to move its way in. Cold front's probably actually about here, but we're seeing the difference is, there is some buffer there for sure. Now we eventually see it fully move through, and then this is when we get the cold air back bottled up in the east. So we end up back where we started a little bit by the time we're reaching Saturday, April 2nd here. So by the time we're reaching next weekend, that's going to be kind of the look. And things really stay cool in the east, as you can see, because even by the time we're reaching April 6th here, we still have the colder air located in the east and generally warmer air located here out west and in the central United States. And as we move on further than that, really nothing changes. And if anything, this ridge is trying to build back into the west, which would kind of move this out a little bit and probably allow for cold to establish itself a bit more over the eastern United States. But that's just the look as of now. Again, that is the extended range, so take it with a grain of salt. But I do think that is interesting to note for sure. Now, what we're going to do is move on and talk about that severe weather. So here's the Cape. This is why there's a lot of agreement now, in my opinion. We see that by the time we're reaching day 1, which will be Tuesday, look at that. We do get 1,000 plus Cape here along Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa. They're indicated by the greens, so about 900 to probably almost 2,000 in some of these spots. So definitely this is a big upgrade in the severe weather potential from what we saw yesterday or even the day before, where we had a lot of uncertainty here. There's a lot more certainty that there will be some form of severe weather according to both the European and the GFS model now. So basically the European model folded to the GFS model, and the GFS model was more correct about this, it appears at this point. So that's Tuesday, and we see some of this overnight also still hanging out. So again, this could be a very late night event, but as we head towards Wednesday, we get this area here of some 1,000 plus amounts of Cape in there again as we head towards Wednesday evening, which is going to be the biggest day of the severe weather potentially. And this is, again, way more than we saw as of yesterday or even the day before. And then the day after that, we also see some 1,000 plus amounts heading into the southeastern United States, which is, again, more than we saw yesterday. This is right in line with what the GFS model is showing. GFS still shows a little bit more, but here's Tuesday. We get a little bit more widespread with these 1,000 plus amounts, but honestly, the European model might have more Cape, in my opinion. But definitely by the time we reach Wednesday, this is a lot more. We have 1,000 plus for Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana there. European model is much more reserved with that Cape, but we'll have to see which one's correct. And then, again, we get a lot of this Cape moving way up into the northeast here on the GFS model, whereas the European model kind of cuts it off anywhere north of Maryland, basically, for the most part. So there is a difference there still, but confidence has significantly gone up because both models now indicate that a severe weather event with 1,000 plus Cape on all 3 days will be occurring, which is not something we could have said as of yesterday. So let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center real quick and see what they're thinking as of now. All right, so now we have a day 2 categorical outlook, which will be for Tuesday, March 29th, or tomorrow from the time I'm making this video. Again, the day we will be going live. And as you can see, we have a huge general thunderstorm risk here for a lot of the central and western United States. We also have a very, very large marginal risk here, all the way extending from Texas all the way up through Iowa in the darker green. This is where we expect isolated severe weather to become possible. And then in this yellow region from Texas up through Oklahoma, Kansas, a little bit of Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri as well, and even a little bit of Arkansas in there. That is where we expect scattered severe weather to be possible. So we're gonna have to really be watching for this severe weather this day, Tuesday, March 29th. And I even think an enhanced is probably likely, at least for this date as well. And we really can't even rule out a moderate for either this date or even Wednesday. So it looks like it could be one of those events. So we'll be watching for that. It depends what direction the models move in, but we do have our individual outlooks to look at, so let's take a look at those. For the wind, we have a 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location there within the green, 15% chance there within the yellow, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, all those states are in there. We see that for the hail outlook, we have a 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location, again within the green, and then a 15% chance there within the yellow. And then for tornadoes, we have a 2% chance there within the green and a 5% chance there within the brown. That includes Dallas, Fort Worth, and Oklahoma City there. So we get like the big 3 cities there in the south central United States involved with this one, which is very, very unfortunate, obviously. Now, as we extend towards day 3, where we don't have the individual outlooks, but we can tell you now there is an enhanced risk already on day 3 and could even get a moderate risk by the time we're reaching this date. We have 2 general thunderstorm risks there, one for New Mexico and Colorado, and then one here for our main severe weather event. There's also a dark green in there, which is our marginal risk again, where isolated severe weather becomes possible. Yellow is where kind of scattered severe weather becomes possible. And then this orange in here for Louisiana, Arkansas. We see a bit of Mississippi and Alabama in there as well. That is where we expect a little bit more widespread severe weather to become possible in there. So that is where things begin to worsen pretty rapidly in there, and we will be watching for that. We even have a day 4 outlook here, and we can tell you that as of now, this translates to at least a slight risk here for the Mid-Atlantic and portions of the Southeast here in this yellow region. So we will probably at least have a slight risk there within that yellow area. Anyway, I know we just covered a lot of ground in such a short amount of time. Again, we will be going live tomorrow at some point during the evening, so be sure to tune into that. Again, I have it in the pinned comment and the description already. You can set reminders in there for when we go live, because I can't tell you exactly what time, so we would greatly appreciate that. Also, liking it helps things out initially anyway, just to get the algorithm going already. So I would greatly appreciate that as well. And also, we're probably going to be going live at least Wednesday. Again, Thursday is kind of a question mark at this point, but we will see how bad things look as we reach closer to Thursday. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, because of the agreement we've seen on the European and the GFS model, we've moved up to a 5 out of 6 because of that great agreement we're seeing from those models now. That's really, really great to see, because at least we have a great understanding of this upcoming system. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting this channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Craich, James Wade, Dovin Eagle, Little the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Kudalasa, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Khaleesi also. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.